After the Brisbane performance and result, obviously probably not what you were after, I'm guessing. Have you seen the response you wanted on the training track?
Yeah, the result definitely is not what we wanted. Again, it's something that we continue to work on. You need both. You need performance and result. And although we didn't really lack in a sense of performance, it was a difficult game that we had to roll the sleeves up. We had to compete with a team that's probably arguably the most physical team in the league. And I think for periods of that game we showed that we can, and we didn't take a backward step, and that's important.
I guess you'll have heard the noise before that game. The tone increased afterwards. Pressure on you. Do you feel like this game against Macarthur on Friday night, it's a must-win for you if you want to keep your job?
It's a must-win game irrespective. It's not about my job. It's a must-win game. It's another game for Melbourne Victory that we have to win, and we'll give ourselves every opportunity to win that match. And it always starts with first day back on the training pitch, see the attitude, the intensity, the temperament of the playing group, and there's never been any indication so far that these players aren't up for a challenge and aren't up to battle. And we've had a great week. We'll finish it off tomorrow as strong as we can and get ready for war.
You feel backed by the club at the moment?
Absolutely.
This is, I guess, a new experience for you. This is your first head coaching gig with senior football. First time you've really been on the hot seat. How are you handling it?
I think this journey started a while back now, Joey, so I've been in this position before. It was 12 months ago now that there was noise as well. That's part of the job. In the end, that's part of coaching. In the end, we haven't won for 3 games. We've got to win. We've got to keep performing, keep improving our performances, and get a result. And that's all part of the job. The noise is there, irrespective. We don't get caught up on the noise. We get caught up on the process that we need to follow to give ourselves the best opportunity to win a match.
Obviously, there was the fracas after the final whistle up there in Brisbane. It looked like a team that was frustrated with things. I guess, one, is it a frustrated team? And 2, if they are, is it the type of frustration that you can harness and use for motivation, or is it something that you need to get under control?
No, it's definitely something we can harness, and that frustration shows that group is together and that group's willing to fight and stand up for each other, and that's the most pleasing thing to see. And we need to see more of that. We need to see that continuously from the start of the match to the end, and whenever it's needed that they're there and they'll show solidarity and show togetherness. And that's the most important thing, that when things aren't going your way, which can happen, that you stick together and you get through it.
In terms of the Macarthur game, what do you need to do to get that win and right the books?
We've got to keep going. We've got to keep building on our performance. We've got to maybe manage moments in matches a little bit street smarter, which is something we're continuing to work on. And in terms of effort and application and putting in, they're working hard every day. They've worked hard every match, and there's been little things that have let us down. Maybe quality in the front third sometimes has let us down, and not through a lack of trying or not through a lack of getting there often. We're constantly talking about being there, but there's no point being there if we're not going to execute. And but the most pleasing thing is we are getting there, and as long as that's happening, we've got to harness that as well and not let go of that, because in the end, that's putting us in positions where we can get a result in a match. So we can't just throw that out the window and just think that there's something more that needs to be done, or what we're doing doesn't work. What we're doing puts us in a position every game to be a chance of winning, and that's something, and that's we've got to keep building on that.
Is there a way, I guess, you can maybe tinker and maybe get different players in those positions to finish it off if you're lacking quality, or are you confident that the goals will eventually start to flow? I'm
very confident the goals will come, and when they come, the floodgates will open. And we keep working hard every day with the right mentality and mindset. We know nothing's given, everything's got to be earned. We know that every time someone plays against Melbourne Victory, it's their grand final. So we've got to be up for that, and irrespective of who the opponent is, irrespective if it's home or away, we've got to be ready for war. And like I said, in moments we show that, and in moments maybe that lets us down at times, but that's something we're aware of and we're continuing to work on, and we'll make sure that's there on Friday night.
So Dennis got the red card against Brisbane for 2 weeks, and that's, as a player with World Cup aspirations, that's a very big red card for him as well. I guess, one, what do you say to him after that, and 2, how do you adapt for his absence against Macarthur?
There's nothing to say to him. In the end, it's the discussions he had with his playing group and with myself. He owned it, and you can move on with that. That happens in football. You know, frustration happens. You know, it's how you manage and harness that, like we spoke about earlier. And he's only human. You know, sometimes people react in a way that's maybe not their typical character or response, but that shows that he cares. That shows that he's hurting, and I like that. And we're all hurting. We all care, and we'll all turn this around together.
You opted to bring one off the bench against Brisbane. Was that just, I guess, did you see the state of the surface and decide not to risk him, or was that a load management thing that you knew coming in? And I guess, can he start now against McCarthy?
Yeah, it was partly load management, partly the opponent, and that was last week. This week's a new week, and everyone's up for selection, as is one, and he's ready to go like everybody else.
I guess Nish also made his season debut against Raw. How's he pulled up from that, and is he in line for an expanded role on Friday?
Yeah, Nish has pulled up really well. Another week under his belt, which is fantastic. So, yeah, I expect Nish to get more game time than he did last week. That's for sure. And yeah, we'll see how the game goes and see what role he plays in it.
Is he able to start if required, or is he still going to come off the bench?
Yeah, he's able to start because now it's 3 weeks of consecutive training with the group, full training. So yeah, he's one that's up for selection, and we'll decide whether that's the best thing for him right now or not.
So we've talked a lot about the attacking side of things, but copping a goal after 3 minutes to a player that was able to find a lot of space in the box there, was that a lapse, or is that something you need to work on?
We don't like conceding any goals, whether it's the beginning, middle, or end of a game. You know, it's times like this where things go against you as well, because when Louis Dorigo cuts that cross off, it can easily fall either side of that striker, but it falls straight at his feet, who lays it off. We can deal with that situation better as well, but it's also a sign that, you know what, when you're down, things don't go for you, and you've got to work harder to turn that bad luck into good luck, and only we can do that, nobody else. That's going to come down to mentality, work ethic, desire, and togetherness, and we know that. We're ready for that, and we'll do everything we can to turn that around.
And on the Bulls themselves, they've been quite busy as of late, so you've got a lot of film to work on. What have you seen from them?
Yeah, they're a team with a lot of experience, you know, a lot of key players, big players, and yeah, they'll be hurting from last week's result as well at home. So yeah, it's two teams that are hurting, and only one team will be able to win.
There's not many strikers in the league that have the profile of Harrison Sawyer, and they've also got Giant Green on the bench to come on as well. How do you approach the challenge of, I guess, two twin towers that you have to deal with up front?
Yeah, look, first you've got to cut it at the source, right? So they're a team in this league at the moment who probably makes the most crosses into the box out of anybody. There's a purpose behind that and a reason, because you've got, you know, two-man mountains up there. One at any given time will always be on the pitch, so they play to their strengths. But there's more to it than that. You know, you identify the strengths and weaknesses in the opponent while still continuing to build on what we need to build on. So they're part of the problem, and the other problem is working on ourselves and making sure we get ourselves right.
No, I asked you about one and Nish specifically, but health and fitness-wise for the entire squad, do you have any other concerns coming into this one? You get anyone back?
No one else back. The others are still weeks away. So, yeah, the same squad that was fit and healthy last week is fit and healthy this week. So, yeah, we'll look at who the squad is tomorrow before travelling, and make sure that everyone who's fit to play and travels to Sydney is willing to do whatever it takes.